Welcome back, fellow top drivers. MyTyme here. It's a beautiful day in the UK and I hope you are all doing well. So coming into today's video, I decided what I was going to do is not focus too much on the current events because there's not really a lot going on. We've got the Italian Tour, which I'm not going to be getting in the top 10. I will show you why in a moment. And we have an American Dream event, the Americana. Now, I have played this event a bit, okay? So 10 for 10. I thought what I would do is I would come in and build a team with you guys to give you an idea of what you're going to want to do in case you are trying to do well in this team. Now, unfortunately, I do not have that Chevrolet Colorado ZR2. It is rearing its ugly head again. It is a car which is extremely good in this event. Now, the first part to note is that there are some dirt / off-road tracks and you only have 240 RQ. So what was I doing? Well, my first thought was to bring in an off-road car. The best one I've got is this GMC, and then I went down further to save some RQ points. I pulled in the K5 Blazer. Now this is fully maxed out in the 323 way rather than the 332 that had been the other one when I sold it. So this is now maxed out, what I would say the better way. So with all that, I also have seen out in the track set that you want a bit of speed, and in order to bring in some speed, there's a car which everybody should have as long as they've gone through the campaign. That is this Chevrolet Trailblazer. This kind of car will do for some drags in it. That doesn't leave us a lot of cars left, so the last two have to be American Dream. Now what I was thinking of using was, again, a cheap car which is good at drags because there are a few quarter miles, etc. And then I've now got essentially 42 RQ points, which means I can put in a super rare to fill out the last space. And also I've got 52, apologies, what am I doing, 52 RQ points as become ultra rare. So look along, it's either the Dodge Challenger or the SRT. Now I don't know actually, I don't know which is better. I'm going to take the SRT for now just because it's quicker. So this is the team I'm going with. This isn't going to get me in the top 10, I'm fully aware of that. Here we go, the Colorado is already out here, but what we do need, we will see there will be a few people bringing in some quick cars, so we're going to need to do our very best to at least attempt to match them in those tracks if we're going to do well. So as we can see here, we have no real choice with these two cars. They kind of pick themselves. Now I think the mixed and the lookouts, I think I'm going to roll like this. Yes, the Plymouth is going to lose, GTX is going to lose that quarter mile, but that's fine, it's fine. So we should get the win overall. There we go, so that's a victory. Now yeah, I think this is the best team I can do. You guys out there, if you can put in the Colorado, then do so. If I can see it in a minute, I'll show you. 56, 58 points, something like that. Oh, 64, okay, it's quite a few points, 64. But if you have a look here, you can go low on the twist in the quarter mile. I've already seen you can bring the GTX in for 29 RQ here, for example. I do not think that these Dodge Durangos are great. Yes, nice saving here with the Chevrolet code on the twisty circuit, so a few RQ points, but I think this is a better call, to be honest. I think the GTX is a better call than the El Camino. Personally, I'd rather keep those RQ points and go a bit higher elsewhere. And again, see a lot of people bring in a Trailblazer if they don't have such a strong hand, a bit like me, because this one can do well. There is a mild drag on the mixed surface, and obviously the Trailblazer is going to be useful there. So what we would do is we would come drop this here, we drop twisty circuit here, we go and match up on the canyon, then we try to take our victories on the sand. Taking the off-road tyres will be a big advantage for us, and I think we actually win this overall. Pretty sure we do. Fairly, yeah, 154 to 50. So that is the American Dream event. Now I'm not going to be finishing in the top 10. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of how I have built my team now. It wasn't the team I used originally, and I didn't have my K5 Trailblazer or whatever it's called maxed out. So that is how I have decided to run the American Dream event. Now the SCG 003 is difficult for me. We'll see here. I can't stay in the top 10. I'm going to finish off using this Alfa Romeo 4C. In between, I've been using the Gran Cabrio just to do a race. But even still, you know, I literally, guys, I'm going to be waiting for this car to go through. I'm just going to use my tickets up. I'm just going to see if I can get a few board pulls and just keep myself in the top 50. So don't be surprised to see me ranked about 40, 35, 40 at the end of this as I drop down, because I'm just going to take the defeats where the defeats come and just try and farm off that board, get myself some more resources. We're nearly up to 900 cash, so I'm in a good position when it comes to having materials to upgrade cars. I just don't have the cars to upgrade. And when we come to buy cars, should I get this carbon fibre and 10 slots? I mean, I'm tempted, but I don't need slots that desperately at the moment. I don't want to get the American Dream carbon fibre because I'm not working specifically on American Dream cars at the moment. The Italian rear wheel drive carbon fibre would be great if there was a better selection of epic cars that I wanted from it, and there's not really that many ultra rare cars that I'm guaranteed that I want from it that I don't really have. So possibly the carbon fibre and 10 slots, but at this moment in time I'm thinking I might just hold on to my cash. We've been doing the challenge, we're through round 15 now. It's not been too bad. I think the majority of people up to here shouldn't really struggle. You should get that first lot of cash. I'll probably show you guys me getting the ceramic, and it's not going to be for at least a day or so. And I thought, what can I do then in this video? And I decided, you know what, I'm going to use some of this time when there's not as many events going on to go through parts of my garage. Now ignore the 980 odd cars that I have here. A lot of these cars in here are there for fusions, or they've just been kept in case I need to build them. And just to give you an example, over here in the Yellowbird, I'm now down to the last 2 kind of campaigns to do, so I'm keeping quite a lot of the French and the German uncommons and rare cards that I pull, just in case they become useful in this. I've obviously got some that I've done from the Italian, for the Japanese, etc., that I probably won't really use much. They might get sold in the future, but as a result I've got more cars in my garage than I normally would, so ignore that a little bit. I thought today what I will do is I will go kind of in the middle, and I will quickly go over the epics and tell you very basically the epics which I like and don't like and why, and which ones are there for fusion and which ones I'm there to keep. So first of all, the Audi RS3 Sportsback, keeping this, not built it yet. It's one of those special cars, you know, it should be a legendary, but it's not good enough to be a legendary, but it's too good to be an epic, so let's just throw it somewhere in the middle. That's that. Still, it is a decent car. I'm going to keep it. CC100 Speedster. Get this Aston Martin, 1,000,000% keeper. Okay, 79 RQ, so it's at the very top of the epic bracket. Amazing car, amazing track car, great MRA. Definitely keep this car. The Bentley Continental, although I don't think it is quite the same level of 79 RQ as the Speedster, it is medium ground clearance. It does have over 200 top speed, 4-wheel drive. Keep it, okay? I promise you, this is a good Bentley. It is a very good Bentley. Keep it. Definitely keep it. Come down to BMW 760. Now, I was told by people to keep this car, so I did work on it. I haven't finished it out yet. Haven't finished maxing it. So I can't say for sure. Typical BMW, not great top speed, but we can already see a very good 0 to 60 4-wheel drive, medium ground clearance. Look like it's going to be a decent acquisition. Now, when it comes to the Evos, there's not much difference between the Evo 9 and the Evo 10. Okay, they're both the MRFQ 360 versions, which 360 being the 360 brake horsepower. It's kind of a preference. I don't think you need to keep both. Personally, I do like the Evo 10, although I have upgraded it 323. I haven't finished the Lancer 9, but I'm definitely keeping this car for now. I definitely think that the Lancers have a place in a garage. They definitely hold their own in the garage. 79 RQ though, definitely I think the X is worth it. I'd actually probably put the 9 at 78 RQ. That's me perfect personally, Porsche 911 Targa 4S, can't comment. Not used the car. Not sure if I'm going to build it. It could go as a fuse car. Renault Sport Megane, again 79 RQ. This is a great French car. If you're working on your French deck, definitely keep this. I'm going to keep it. It's got good MRA, it's good track car, can be useful in drags. Again, 79 RQ, kind of worth it. Slick tyres is a bit of a shame in it, but very decent car. The Pentega diesel is meant to be pretty good. I've seen it in action. Not so keen to upgrade it myself because I've got the legendary version of it, and I do have the legendary Range Rover Autobiography, so not so keen to work on that just yet. BMW 750DX drives are meant to be one of the best standard tyre cars, so definitely going to keep that. Cadillac CT6, again, definitely recommend worth keeping. 87 handling with 4-wheel drive standard, keep that, guys. BMW i8 Roadster, I maxed this car out when it was 3.4 and 89 handling, so that was a while ago. So when I maxed it out, this car was definitely not worth it. At this moment in time, I still don't feel it is necessarily a 78 RQ car, but it is definitely a far better ride than it was for the same RQ. So I wouldn't rush to build it if you have it, but with a 4-wheel drive 95 handling, and it's a decent car, and you could work on it. However, I would build the Caterham Superlight over the i8 Roadster for the same RQ. That gives you an idea. I'd also probably build the Challenger SRT Hellcat wide body over it. So if you get you kind of get an idea why it's not bad. It definitely would not be a priority. Superlight, definitely 100% worth building. I've already built a Furai a long time ago. I haven't finished the Superlight. It's something I should work on. SRT Hellcat, great drag car, although it has been nerfed over its time. As you can see, I've built this one. It can hold its own in hairpins, etc. as well. If you get one, keep it. The Mercedes SLR McLaren Roadster, I would call this a fuse car. 78 RQ, it is really only a drag car. It's nothing else, in my opinion. Car easy to get rid of if you need the space, or you need to use cars to fuse. The Metro, I'm not going to go on this because it's a price car, not everyone will be able to access it. The Volkswagen W12, again for 78 RQ, I feel that this car isn't strong enough. I just personally don't think it's got a mid-range. It doesn't do anything particularly great. It can definitely be fused. We've got drop down 77 RQ, the Charger SRT Hellcat. This is the faster drag version of them, so it's 1 RQ less. Especially like American cars, I'd see build this car for the drag. Build your wide body a bit more as a kind of all-rounder track surface, or your Hellcat. That's how I would do it. So for 77 RQ, I'd keep it. Lamborghini Diablo, I've not used it enough. I can't really comment. It's just there. The Furai, great 77 RQ car. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. Amazing car. Keep it. Just keep it. Bentley Flying Spur, can't really comment on. We're dropping down to 76 RQ now. So if you don't need that many Bentleys, and you're working, for example, on the GT Speed Coupe, I think some of these Bentleys can go as fuse, in my opinion. Keep a couple of them, but unless you want to make a great exhibition deck, I don't think you need to keep them all. We've kind of mentioned the Hellcat already. We come to KTM Crossbow. This is the poor man's kind of Furai, Caterham, all those kind of things. So build it. I built this when I didn't have those cars. Now that when I didn't have the Caterham and Superlight, now that I've got this 76 RQ, I would not focus on it, and I would do the Lotus 711 instead of the KTM personally. Okay, personally, GB Kai 80 for Austria. There's not. Yeah, you're going to get more use probably out of the Lotus. So for 76 RQ, this would be the car I build. This would be the fuse car. 76 RQ again, Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 6. Great car for 76 RQ, 4-wheel drive, medium, and it's still got another upgrade to go. So this will get a little bit more handling. They've got 0 to 60. You can go a lot further wrong than building these cars. Personally, though, I do prefer the 6 over the 8, and I don't think you need both. I think building one of these is enough for most people, unless you like Evos like I do. Then we go down to 75 RQ, the Disco Volante. Definitely a car I think worth keeping, especially for the Italian. There aren't a huge number of Italian epics that I think are pretty solid. This is one of those cars, great track car. We then move to the M6 Grand Coupe. It doesn't look hugely impressive. I know it's got more work to be done to it, but for medium ground clearance and with some great power, I'd keep this car for 75 RQ. I think it's a BMW worth keeping. The DS Numero 9 I can't comment on, I've not really used it, but I see a lot of people building this. It goes to about 3.6, 86 handling, standard tyres. I can see why people keep it, and that's why I've kept it for now. The Lamborghini Gallardo, I maxed this out when this was a beast, when it was one of the best epics. It is now a good epic. It's definitely worth keeping at 75 RQ, but it doesn't pack the punch that it did do before it got nerfed in one of the last patches. Porsche 911, I don't know, I've been told to keep it, so I have. We've dropped down to 74 RQ, been told the DB10, great MRA. I do kind of agree that I see this car and I think, yes, okay, I get where you're all coming at, but I just don't see it as a track car, and I don't know if I want to build it as a drag car, but I probably will. It will probably get built at some stage. I went for the Zagato because I saw this more as a track car at the time, but obviously if you've got the Speedster, that would definitely be my priority over this. And if you didn't have the resources, this could definitely wait. Okay, so you're in no rush to do this car. Do the Speedster first. We then got the Camaro, which everyone gets. Nothing to be said about that great car. The Boss 74 RQ, probably because it's medium ground clearance. It makes it that kind of car that you keep. It is really specialist. You don't really use it in that many events, but you get any medium American kind of city street event, or especially if it's Ford focused, this car comes to the front. So keep it, I'd say, if you've got the room. Don't feel bad if you fuse it though, okay? Honestly, don't feel bad if you fuse it. You won't use it as much as you think you might, okay? And I've kind of shown you here with my total races. Then we've got this AMG C63. This is a great all-round city car from Mercedes, 74 RQ. If you've got the space, I'd say keep it. I don't really use the GLE, but I see loads of people using this car in off-road events. Very good 0 to 60. Probably definitely going to keep this and build it at some stage. The XJR, surprisingly, I think this is a very good car. Okay, I think it's a little bit underrated. 73 RQ is about 6 less than the other epic cars. You can do a lot with 6 RQ to improve other parts of your team, and it's not maxed out yet. Great for city streets. Okay, so it's a great car for city streets, medium ground clearance. I think for 73 RQ it's worth keeping. The Lotus Exige, I've not really used. Lots of Lotuses tend to be lightweight, good at handling. I will be keeping this, but I can't really give an opinion on it. 911, I use this a lot. Considering the amount I use it, I've not upgraded it, which is probably something that I should have done. I definitely think you can keep it. Now we drop into the lower levels of epic. Which of these should you work on, should you not work on? Caterham CSR, I think it's worth keeping. I think it's worth keeping for slaloms and city streets, etc. Sorry, not city streets, twisty circuits, etc. 72 RQ, it can be a cheap alternative. I think it's worth keeping. But everyone gets the CLS 400 standard rear wheel. It's one of the cars you could probably let go if you needed to, but I find myself going to it quite a lot, and I did at the beginning of the game, as you can see here, so I've kept it for that reason. So me personally, I'd keep it, but I do understand why some people choose to fuse it. The Diablo I've not really used, and as a result I don't want to invest too much in it, because if I don't find myself using it, this will become a car I fuse. WRX Subaru, again, I fused this car because I don't see it as a car that I really need. I think the Mitsubishis do the job better than the Subarus, therefore this car will go. I had 2 Raptors, got rid of one. I thought this was going to be great, but I just don't see myself using it as much as I thought I would. You know, it's still got a little work to finish it off. I know it's another incomplete car, but it's heavy. It's kind of specialist. You know, it works in off-road events. It's not bad, but I don't think you need to work on it now like you used to. The Bentley Continental GT, I think this can go. Not a car you need to worry about working on. Cayman GTS, this is a good 70 RQ car. Okay, I haven't maxed it out because I got it fairly recent, I think. Oh no, 287 days. Okay, it's not recent at all. I just haven't worked on it. But for 70 RQ, if you want a cheaper track car, definitely go for this Porsche. Okay, it's good all round like track, bit of decent MRA, and it's got a decent top speed. This is definitely worth working on for 70 RQ in my opinion. The flying spur up here again, 4.189, 68 RQ. Personally, like the Continental, you want a cheaper medium ground clearance. I think this is medium, isn't it? Yeah, medium ground clearance kind of car, Bentley. You can build one. I won't go further than one. The Cadillac El Mirage I've upgraded wrong because I thought again when I had this it was all about the speed. If I get another, it's not a car I would focus on. The Camaro S again, I think I will keep and I think I will build, but I can't really give too much comment on that at the moment. So the Ford Mustang GT Power Pack has medium ground clearance again. So it's like the Boss. What you could do very easily is get rid of the Boss and keep this, or vice versa. If you're building a Boss, you don't probably really need to build one of these as well. If you don't have the Boss, then you could build this as kind of a slightly cheaper alternative. The Maxi Turbo is a very good car in specialist situations, especially in French decks. But if you're not focusing on French, I wouldn't keep this car. I'd get rid of it. It's an old car as well, literally mainly just for older events or French events, but if you're not focusing on those, no need to keep the car. Yukon I upgraded wrong. I've had it since and got rid of it. I put that in the same kind of category as Cadillac XT5, and they are worth working on if you've got excess ultra rare cars, but most people are going to find other epics they want to focus on first, so they'll probably be at the back of the queue. The RS2 I'm keeping just because it's got the sleeper tag. Don't actually know if it's any good or not. The Range Rover Evoque Topography, I think this is a weak Range Rover for its base stat, 6.3 cent free handling for 66 RQ. It's not something I'd focus on. I think for a lot of people you can probably fuse that. Same with the Vauxhall Insignia, 4-wheel drive, 5.782. It looks alright, but for 66 RQ, Vauxhall isn't like a main brand which comes up all the time. It's kind of a bitty car. I don't think you need to keep it. The Aston Martin Virage, again, this is a decent 65 RQ car. It's a bit better than some of those ultra rares. I could see people keeping this and building it, and I wouldn't complain. But if you compared that to the Chevrolet Mirai, I'd say this is a much better car. It's got a 4-wheel drive tag. Goes up to 95 handling, 3.40 to 60. Just a great car for the wet on slaloms, karting tracks, etc. This is kind of a car which almost becomes a must keep, where the Virage is just kind of like a choice. The Chevrolet Corvette Z06, I would say this is a keeper, mainly because there aren't a huge number of cars like this in the American garage. It's not bad, 65 RQ. Okay, it's a good cheap track car, and it kind of does a bit of everything. It's half decent around the tracks. It's not amazingly heavy. It's not great, but it can kind of do everything. You'd be surprised how many American events I actually use this car in, and okay, it doesn't look like a lot, 82% win ratio. I kind of have to go back to it, and as a result, I then maxed it. I did use this car a lot of the time when it wasn't maxed out. Then we've got the Lancia Stratos. I see no reason for myself to build this at the moment. To me, it doesn't look particularly great. I'm happier with the Lancia, which is a lot less RQ. I can't remember the one, but the one with the 4.089 handling does the same job for me. No reason to work on this. And again, the last but not least, the G63 6x6 just never gets used anywhere. There's like nowhere to use this. It's just so too heavy. Start to work on it because I thought it was going to be really good to have. I never really use it, so that can definitely be fused. So that's kind of my epics at the moment. We've got a few cars that we can fuse away when I get the necessary legendaries, and we've got a couple of cars that I could do with working on. Plenty of incomplete cars there. Some of them will stay the way as they are because they will be fused, but I've got some stuff to do. I can be a busy boy. So with all that said, I'm going to continue trying to just grind these events, continue working on my Great Exhibition deck, and in the next video I'll either show you the ultra rare or the super rare part of the garage and show you how my Great Exhibition in those areas are getting on. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know in the comment section below. Leave a like, a thumbs up. Have a good day, and I will see you all soon.